Branches of philosophy. How can we identify philosophy? How can we distinguish between different types of philosophy? There are several ways to distinguish between different types of philosophy, depending on the criteria used for classification. Here are some common ways of distinguishing between different types of philosophy. Historical period. Philosophy can be classified by the time period in which it was developed, such as ancient philosophy, including Greek, Roman, and ancient Chinese philosophy. Medieval philosophy, including Christian and Islamic philosophy, and modern philosophy, including the Enlightenment, existentialism, and postmodernism. Methodology. Philosophical approaches can be distinguished based on their methodology, such as analytical philosophy, continental philosophy, phenomenology, hermeneutics, and critical theory. Branches of philosophy. Philosophy can also be classified based on the different branches of philosophy, such as metaphysics, epistemology, ethics, political philosophy, logic, aesthetics, and philosophy of science. Themes and issues. Another way to distinguish philosophy is by the themes and issues it addresses, such as the nature of reality, the existence of God, the meaning of life, the foundations of morality, the role of the state, the nature of consciousness, and the structure of language. Schools of thought. Finally, philosophy can be classified based on different schools of thought, such as idealism, realism, pragmatism, existentialism, and postmodernism. It's important to note that these categories are not mutually exclusive and there is often overlap between different types of philosophy. Philosophers can draw from multiple methodologies, branches, and themes, and may identify with different schools of thought at different times in their careers. Today we are going to talk about the branches of philosophy. Philosophy is a broad subject that can be divided into several branches or subfields. The most popular way to categorize philosophy branches is by dividing them into 6 main branches: metaphysics, epistemology, ethics, politics, aesthetics, and logic. These 6 branches are sometimes referred to as the core branches of philosophy, as they are fundamental to understanding the nature of reality, knowledge, reasoning, morality, society, and art. While there may be some overlap between these branches and some subfields within them, this classification provides a broad framework for understanding the diverse areas of inquiry within philosophy. Metaphysics. Metaphysics is a complex and multifaceted field of philosophy that seeks to explore the fundamental nature of reality, including the nature of existence, the relationship between mind and matter, and the limits of human understanding. At its core, metaphysics is concerned with the fundamental nature of reality, seeking to understand the nature of existence itself. It is often divided into several subfields, including ontology, the study of being, and cosmology, the study of the universe. One of the central questions of metaphysics is the nature of reality. This includes questions about the nature of material objects, the relationship between the mind and the body, and the nature of time and space. For example, metaphysical questions might include: what is the nature of existence? What is the nature of reality? What is the nature of consciousness? What is the nature of causation? And what is the nature of time? Another significant aspect of metaphysics is the exploration of the relationship between the physical world and the non-physical world. This includes questions about the existence of God, the possibility of free will, and the nature of the soul. For example, metaphysical questions might include: does God exist? What is the nature of the soul? Is the mind separate from the body? And do humans have free will? Metaphysics is also concerned with exploring the limits of human knowledge and understanding. This includes questions about the nature of reality itself, as well as the limits of scientific inquiry and understanding. For example, metaphysical questions might include: can we truly understand the nature of reality? Are there limits to scientific inquiry? And what is the relationship between perception and reality? Epistemology. Epistemology is the branch of philosophy concerned with knowledge and belief. It deals with questions such as, what is knowledge, how is it acquired, and what makes a belief justified or rational. Epistemology is interested in understanding how we come to know things about the world, what counts as evidence or justification, and how we can evaluate claims to knowledge or truth. In epistemology, philosophers examine various sources of knowledge, including perception, memory, testimony, and reasoning. In addition, epistemologists analyze the nature of skepticism, which is the view that we cannot have certain knowledge about anything. Epistemology is also concerned with the limits of knowledge and how we can know whether we know something or not. For example, philosophers explore questions such as, can we have knowledge of things beyond our immediate experience, such as the existence of other minds, or the external world? How do we know that our beliefs are not simply the result of our biases, prejudices, or cultural conditioning? Overall, epistemology is a central area of philosophical inquiry because it helps us to better understand the nature of knowledge, justification, and truth, and to critically evaluate our own beliefs and the claims of others. Ethics. Ethics is a branch of philosophy concerned with morality and how individuals should behave in society. It is concerned with the study of what is right and wrong, good and bad, just and unjust. Ethics is often divided into two main branches: normative ethics and meta-ethics. Normative ethics is concerned with determining what is morally right and wrong, and providing guidelines for ethical behavior. There are several different schools of normative ethics, including consequentialism, deontology, and virtue ethics. Consequentialism holds that the morality of an action should be judged based on its consequences. Deontology emphasizes the importance of following moral rules and duties. Virtue ethics is concerned with developing virtuous character traits in individuals in order to lead a good life. Meta-ethics, on the other hand, is concerned with the nature of ethics itself. It asks questions about the meaning of ethical terms such as good and bad, and about the foundation of ethical principles. Meta-ethics does not provide guidance on what individuals should do, but rather examines the language and concepts of ethics to determine their validity and meaning. Another important aspect of ethics is applied ethics, which involves the application of ethical principles to real-world situations. This includes fields such as medical ethics, business ethics, environmental ethics, and more. Overall, ethics is a complex and nuanced branch of philosophy that involves a deep exploration of human morality and how individuals should behave in society. It is an important field for understanding how we can create a more just and equitable world. Political philosophy. Political philosophy is a branch of philosophy that focuses on questions related to politics, government, and social order. It seeks to answer questions about how society should be organized, what kind of government is best, and what the rights and responsibilities of citizens are. One of the main questions that political philosophy seeks to answer is what kind of government is best. There are many different theories on this topic, including democracy, aristocracy, monarchy, and dictatorship. These theories are based on different assumptions about human nature, the role of government, and the relationship between citizens and the state. Another important question in political philosophy is what the rights and responsibilities of citizens are. Different theories emphasize different rights and responsibilities, including the right to free speech, the right to vote, and the right to participate in government. Political philosophers also consider issues related to social justice, such as the distribution of wealth and resources, and the role of the state in promoting equality and fairness. Political philosophy also considers the relationship between the state and other institutions, such as the family, the church, and the economy. Political philosophers consider questions such as whether the state should regulate economic activity, whether the state should promote a particular religion or set of values, and how the state should balance the needs of different groups in society. Aesthetics. Aesthetics is a branch of philosophy that deals with the nature of beauty, art, and taste. It is concerned with understanding how we perceive and experience beauty and art, and how we can make sense of the role that they play in our lives. Aesthetics is often associated with the study of visual arts, but it also encompasses other forms of art such as literature, music, dance, and theatre. One of the central questions in aesthetics is what makes something beautiful. While there is no single answer to this question, philosophers have proposed a number of different theories. One approach is to define beauty in terms of certain objective qualities, such as symmetry, proportion, and harmony. Another approach is to argue that beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and that it is a subjective experience that varies from person to person. Aesthetics also deals with the nature and purpose of art. Some philosophers argue that the purpose of art is to imitate reality, while others believe that art should be valued for its ability to express emotion or convey a message. Aesthetic theories also explore the different ways that we can interpret and analyze works of art, and the role that context plays in our understanding of them. In addition to these questions, aesthetics also deals with the role of taste and judgment in our appreciation of art. Philosophers have debated whether judgments of taste are subjective or objective, and whether they are based on personal preferences or on more universal standards. They have also explored the ways in which our judgments of art can be influenced by factors such as culture, history, and social norms. Overall, aesthetics is a complex and multifaceted field that continues to inspire lively debate among philosophers, artists, and scholars. By exploring the nature of beauty, art, and taste, it helps us to better understand the role that these concepts play in our lives and in our societies. Logic. Logic is the branch of philosophy that studies reasoning and argumentation. It is concerned with identifying and analyzing the patterns of reasoning that lead to valid or sound conclusions. Logic provides a set of rules and methods for evaluating arguments and determining their validity or soundness. The study of logic involves analyzing the structure of arguments and identifying the logical relationships between their parts. It aims to distinguish between valid arguments, i.e., those that follow the rules of logic and necessarily lead to true conclusions, and invalid arguments, i.e., those that do not follow the rules of logic and may lead to false conclusions. There are several areas of study within logic, including formal logic. Formal logic is concerned with the study of deductive reasoning and the development of formal systems that can be used to represent and evaluate arguments. It includes propositional logic, predicate logic, and modal logic. Informal logic. Informal logic is concerned with the study of arguments in natural language and the identification of common fallacies and errors in reasoning. Inductive logic. Inductive logic is concerned with the study of inductive reasoning, which is reasoning from particular instances to general principles. It includes probability theory and statistical inference. Modal logic. Modal logic is concerned with the study of the logical relationships between necessity, possibility, and contingency. The study of logic has applications in various fields, including mathematics, computer science, linguistics, and philosophy. It provides a framework for analyzing and evaluating arguments and can be used to identify fallacious reasoning in various contexts. Moreover, it can help people to think more critically and to develop better arguments in support of their beliefs and opinions.